Hello, this is JBZ1 and today I'm showing you guys my 3-piece striker and 3-piece predator, aka the armor shredder build. This build is by stacking enemy armor damage with a high percent of critical hit chance and having a 5 talents. Yes, a 5 talents weapon on your assault rifle. As you can see in this clip, I'm a solo manhunt. It's because I just want to try this build out before posting it, and the result, this is what happened. I became a manhunt. Later on, I'm gonna show you guys how I became manhunt on this video clip. But for now, let's check out my gear. As you can see, this is my main stats, gear, and weapons looks like. My enemy armor damage, I have 67% and the cap is 70% without the gear mods. Now let's start with my chest piece armor. The chest piece can get up to 3266 armor, and right now I only have 3101 armor with a very high stamina rolled. And for major attributes, you always want to have armor rolled in it with either health or exotic damage resilience. If I'm going PvP, I'd rather choose exotic damage resilience over health. The reason why a lot of people using frag grenades at you or any skilled explosive. And of course for minor attributes, ammo capacity is must have since you're only using assault rifle. So now let's move towards my mask. The mask can get up to 1001 armor. The base armor, that's the highest you can get, and right now I only have, not only, but I have 984 armor, which is very high armor rolled on it with a very low firearms roll, as you can see right there. For major attributes, there's 3 choices you can pick. It's either health, exotic damage resilience, or crit chance. I usually pick exotic damage resilience and stack them up with my chest piece, but right now I'm stacking crit chance, which is I pick crit chance. And for minor attributes, make sure you always have enemy armor damage. Moving on to my knee pad, the max armor you can get is 2931 on knee pad, and right now I have 2745 armor, which is not bad. And I have very high roll on my firearms. And for major attributes, make sure you always rolled armor on it. And for the minor attributes, make sure you have enemy armor damage. Now for my backpack. Again, the max armor you can get is 2293 armor, and right now I have 2147, which is not bad also. And I have a very high roll on my stamina. Again, for major attributes, make sure you always have armor rolled on it. And ammo capacity is must have on minor attributes. Again, you're only using assault rifle. Moving on to my glove. 1001 is the highest you can get on the armor on the gloves, but I have a very roll on my armor, which is 857. But I have very high rolled on my firearms. As you can see right there, it's 1270. And for major attributes, make sure you always have this 3 with critical hit chance, critical damage, and assault rifle damage. As you can see, I'm missing a critical damage on my roll, which is fine. Make sure I have the critical hit chance and assault rifle on it. Now for the last one, a holster. The highest armor you can get is 1674, but right now I only have 1535 armor, which is not bad also because it's close to the max cap. And for your main stats, make sure you always have like 1250 plus on all your firearms, stamina, and electronics. I consider that as a guide roll, but right now I'm missing electronics on this build, which is fine because I don't use electronics in this build anyways. And for major attributes, make sure you always have armor rolled on it. Now moving on to my LBOA assault rifle. It has a high base damage and high RPM. The talent I'm using is vicious, destructive, and deadly. And I mentioned having 5 talents is because of my secondary weapon. That is, has adept and competent on it. So when you use a skill with your secondary, then switch to your main weapon and you'll get that same buff as having as like 5 talent, as you can see in this video clip right here. Okay, for the muzzle, you want to have a critical damage over the headshot damage. You can put headshot damage large muzzle in it that has headshot damage, but right now I prefer having a critical damage over the headshot damage assault rifle. The reason why is you do more damage when you crit on the headshot. Well, overall you do more damage when you crit. So make sure you have a critical damage on it with headshot damage and critical hit chance, of course. And for your under barrel, make sure it has high critical damage. I only have accuracy and reload speed on this one, so try to find with stability. Like, that's the best choice you can have, like accuracy and stability, and with a high critical damage. That's the best choice you can have. And for magazine, critical hit chance and firing rate is the top choice. You can have a critical damage also by looking at this one, but this one is most preferred because you want to have your bullet like to shoot fast as possible. 5% is like high rate, fire rate is good enough. Of course, with a better magazine size. And for the large scope is this one I choose is because I don't have a critical damage with headshot damage and critical hit chance. So if you don't have the high critical damage with headshot damage at 6% and 3% of critical hit chance, this is the top choice is if you don't have those things with high critical hit chance and headshot damage and 4% critical damage. As you can see, it's just if you put like headshot damage on here, just saying like the numbers like a little bit higher, but this build is you want to have the crit, better crit no matter what. So but this is your second choice if you don't have the, I believe, 20% critical damage with 6% headshot damage and 3% critical hit chance. That is your top choice, but this one is just your second choice with high critical chance. And for your secondary weapon, again, competent, adapt, and I don't put magazine on it because I can tell that if I'm using my secondary weapon, I have 20 mags on it. It doesn't matter what weapon you use. You can use like a SMG, LMG, sniper. Just make sure it's like low scored and it has those two stats. Let me give you example on the competent on 256 gear. So this one has competent on it. Look at the requirement. It has requirement of 3832 electronics, which is you don't want to use it on this build because you're gonna waste a lot of damage or toughness by putting on electronics. The requirement is a little bit high comparing to my secondary. It's only required this much, and as you can see, the weapon damage is still the same thing as this one. So you'll still get the same bonus effect. So you know you're only using this for your secondary anyways when you pop your skill, and then switch to your main, so you can get at least like 5 talents combination. Now I'm gonna demonstrate you my damage. As you can see, when I pop my pulse with my booster shot, you can see I got my tap and a competent, and then switch to your LVOA. As you can see, my damage is 436. And let me just do this. and crit chance like 46.50%. That's with a pulse and adept on it. And for the all weapon, that's combination of competent and booster shots is 50%, right? 25% right there. And now let's move back to my enemy armor damage. As you can see right here is 67%, which is very high. So 67% is considering how much damage does this cause. Like I'm guessing about 6, 12, 16, 24. So this is like basically 27% weapon damage total on it. That's my estimate damage on having a 67 enemy armor damage. As you can see, it's like having a destructive right here. 15% is considered 6% damage. Remember, I didn't do this calculation. I just found this one guy's video about enemy armor damage. So basically saying that 15% enemy arm damage is considering 6% weapon damage. And survivability, I have 187 health with 52 armor. Again, if with better rolls, with better results. So my toughness is 4,000, which is not bad for having a 2 stamina and 3 firearms. As you can see, my main stats in here is this one. This is a firearms, this one's firearms, and this one's firearms. And this 2 is the stamina rolled on it. So having those 2 is giving you some insane amount of damage, as you can see right there. That's without the buff. So if you put a buff in it, it's gonna go up to like 400 plus. Okay, as earlier I demonstrated earlier. This is where my first time trying out this build, and I end up being a manhunt. Well, anyways, enjoy.
Commencing package extraction. Warning, your division affiliation has been disavowed. You are now on this road.
Till extraction complete.
Well, that's all for this build, and I hope you find this video useful for your present and future build. More builds to come, and this is JBZ1. This is me saying goodbye.